I thought the same thing. So if maybe wrong.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have Miss Ella Hanks leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. So as soon as she makes her way up here and gets us started, thank you, Miss Ella. Ready? Go ahead and start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ella. All right. Are there any changes or revisions to the regular or consent agenda?
Approve the regular and consent agendas.
I second.
We made a motion to approve the regular and consent agendas. Lee seconded that. All those in favor? Thank you. Recognitions and information. Students.
Nope. Well, we have some employees to announce first.
Oh.
Sorry, that did get in there.
Oh, okay. Recognitions. We'll do that first.
I apologize.
So I would like to introduce Andrew and Emily York. So Andrew, you actually approved at a previous board meeting, and he is serving within our middle school math department. And Emily, you approved tonight, and she's going to be working within our high school special education department. And they are Putnam County grads, both Boilermakers. Did a short little stint in California, decided to move back to Indiana in the middle of the winter, so just in time to catch the snow. But we are very grateful that they're serving in our school and helping our kids. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, now we're ready.
My apologies.
It's okay. Students of the month, Central Elementary, Ava Malone.
All right, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Ava Malone. She is our kindergarten student of the month. Look at that smile. Her teacher is Mrs. Freeman, and this is what Mrs. Freeman says about you. That you are an exceptional kindergartner. She is a great friend to others by always finding ways to include, celebrate, and encourage her peers. She finds thoughtful ways to show others how much she cares about them. Ava is a bright girl who works very hard in class. She puts forth her best effort and is always up for the challenges. Her ability to be responsible has earned her various opportunities to show leadership skills within our classroom too. She's a great role model to others, and she is a joy to have in class. So this is Ava. Turn around, look.
And from Fillmore Elementary. One more time, Miss Ella.
So this is Ella Hanks, and it's my pleasure to present her to the board as our Student of the Month at Fillmore Elementary School. And so according to Mrs. Clark, Ella's teacher, Ella is a joy to have in class. She greets all the adults and her classmates each morning with a smile on her face. She's excited for the day to begin, and Ella does not back down from a challenge, but instead she faces it head on, giving it all her all. Ella is a great friend to those around her. She shows tremendous collaboration with her classmates when working on projects, sharing stories, and playing review games. She is also a quick to help others. Thank you, Ella, for your kindness, hard work, infectious giggle, and excitement you show for learning. And I can say, as Ella's principal, I'm honored to be part of her educational journey at Fillmore. And as you can see, she starts every day with a bright smile on her face, so it's a joy to have her at Fillmore. So congratulations to Ella.
first of all, Melissa Anderson from South Putnam Middle School. Melissa is incredibly assiduous and precise in her work. She has such an eye for detail and never turns something in that she hasn't poured all of her effort and time into. The level of her work is exceptional. Melissa is also a pleasure to have in the classroom. She always has a smile on her face. Melissa is kind to her classmates and leads by example. I've never had Melissa off task or not doing what she's supposed to be. Congratulations. All right, Aiden, are you ready? So Aiden Beatles is our high school student of the month, and it's going to take me a minute. I've got to put on my glasses because I've got a lot to read about this guy. And then we're going to embarrass him a little bit because we've got a couple of videos that we want to show too. So first of all, the two teachers that nominated him for this month. So Mrs. Line to start with. I would like to nominate Aiden Beatles for Student of the Month. I've had the pleasure of having him in my class this year. I've not had the pleasure of having him in class this year, but I've been able to work with him closely with his FFA career, and he's been working on a project in his fabrication class that he's building a stand for Mrs. Through the project, he's been an absolute joy to work with. He paid close attention to all the requests and has worked within the time limit. When he brought several versions to me, I had a few changes that I asked to be made, and Aiden immediately listened to them, and I pointed out specific colors and stains and filling screws and adding an electrical portion. He nodded and immediately carried it back to the shop to continue. He balances his kindness, adds humor in a way that is extremely memorable. Through FFA, he served on the parliamentary procedure team for the last several years and worked hard to memorize all the rules and jump right in on changes when we have to improve the team. He's always consistent when he's leading his peers, and he's been a great chairman for the team. He's always willing to forgo a wrestling meet the night of a district because he found value in his teammates and knew that they couldn't compete without him. He didn't hesitate on a moment to prove how selfless he is. I'm so happy to have had so many opportunities to work with Aiden, and I believe more than ever that he has earned the recognition of Student of the Month. And then Coach Sorrell also made a recommendation. Aiden Beadle is one of the most decorated athletes I've coached in my 19 years. Most recently, Aiden was named the Indianapolis Colts Man of the Year. This award comes from his dedication to philanthropy. Aiden was elected by his peers as the FFA chapter president. He serves on the high school student council and has been a member of the Sheep Barn for 9 years and Putnam County 4-H, as well as a 4-H junior leader. He's worked for years to educate the public about the importance of removing invasive species from their property. He's helped remove the Asian bush honeysuckle from school grounds and is planning to help remove the invasive pear trees. Another project that Aiden planned and implemented in the school is an anti-vaping campaign. He helped lead the Eagles to a 9-2 season while maintaining a rigorous academic schedule. The little things he does in football and weight class can't be overlooked, like teaching young players how to lift and do drills and working the clock for every middle school and JV game for the past 3 years. He's been a leader doing the little things that are needed to run a football program. On the field, Aiden was a beast. He had over 400 career defensive tackles, 10 sacks, and was elected team captain for the year. He's also earned numerous awards, including the 2022 and 2023 IFCA All-Star, All-State, 2-time Putnam County Defensive Player of the Year, All-Conference, Academic All-Conference in 21, 22, and 23, and was named one of 2023's Primetime 25. On top of that, Aiden holds multiple school records, including sacks and tackles in the game, and he holds the record for tackles in a season and in a career. He's an exceptional young man in every aspect of life. So it's remarkable. Aiden's just a remarkable young man, and again, Aiden, we're going to embarrass you a little bit more, and Dr. Smith is going to show a video, when you able to get it to work, of the moment when he found out about his big moment. So when they brought Aiden in, they told him that he was one of 5 top candidates, but he was going to have to do an interview. And then he walked into Mr. Burgess's office, and we're all standing in there. So Aiden thinks now he has to not only do this important interview, but he has to do this important interview in front of an audience. And then they make him wait another 15 minutes And Aiden just kept his cool and his calm, and then he had this magical moment.
If you're ready, we can go ahead and get started.
All right, sounds perfect.
As you know, and I'm sure Coach has filled you in, you've made the top 5 for our High School Man of the Year program. We're in year 3 of the program, and we really set out with this program to highlight what students are doing on the field as well as, most importantly, off the field. We're excited to partner with Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics on this program. Before we get things kicked off, I'd like to let in a special guest to speak to you.
What's going on, Aiden? Hey. How you doing, bro? I'm doing well. How about yourself? I'm good. I'm Zaire Franklin, linebacker in Indianapolis Colts. This year's nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. And I'm here to announce that you are this year's winner. So congratulations, my brother. You look sharp. I love the shirt, tie, salute combo. You look great. I just want to say congratulations and just commend you on all your hard work. Obviously, you're a great player. You've done over 400 tackles over 4 years of school. You're top 10 in your class academically, which is always great. And most importantly, you volunteer at over 6 different organizations, man. And I can just speak from my personal experience, man. It's just as athletes, as student athletes, not only in our high school community, but even as you go on with your playing career, we're leaders and role models in our community, man. And the example that you're setting, not only just for this team, but for your community abroad, is commendable, bro. So I just want to commend you for all that. Congratulations again. A lot of hard work. I hope you feel good about yourself. You can relax. You breathe. You did it, man. You won it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did we catch you off guard a little bit there?
A little bit.
As I mentioned, this program is presented by Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. So now I'd like to let in sports medicine specialist, Dr. Myers.
Aiden, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's it feel like to be the Colts High School Man of the Year?
Man, it's a lot of pressure. I was so nervous, but this is amazing. I can't even believe it.
Well, congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you.
You bet.
There's one more.
Football player as the Colts High School Man of the Year, presented by Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Junior and senior football lettermen were nominated by school or team administrators across Indiana. The award recognizes an outstanding Indiana high school football player who exemplifies character, leadership, and teamwork on and off the field. Please congratulate our 2023 High School Man of the Year, Aiden Beagles of South Putnam High School.
Thank you, administrators and teachers and parents and students, for all your hard work and your participation and coming here this evening. We realize it's a school night, so you are all welcome to exit at this time if you'd like to go home and go to bed. Or eat dinner. All right, 5B, financial update, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, in your package, you received the latest financial reports through the end of the month of December, which included our cash flows and fund reports. among a lot of other details. These reports also summarize all of 2023. Additionally, we reviewed in detail the financial status of the district at the annual financial meeting last evening. In summary, as reflected in those reports and the extensive reporting from the annual financial meeting, we continue to track very positively with our forecasted income, expenses, and cash balances, and our investments continue to increase in returns. In other news, our biennial State Board of Accounts audit continues to progress, and we're looking forward to a positive outcome.
Okay. 5C, legislative update. Joe?
I have no legislative update except for we do need to register at least 2 people, preferably 1 or 2, but they request 2, typically the president and the legislative liaison for the ISBA State House Day, which
And
is
that's February 6th.
February 6th. So my suggestion would be, if you don't want to go or can't go, that we have someone else go as well, or in your place.
Okay, but you are definitely going?
I will be going unless for some reason something takes me out of town.
Okay. Well, I was planning to go, but if there's anyone like to. Okay. Okay.
That's all I have. I have not registered yet, but I plan to likely tomorrow.
Thank you, Joe. Item 6, public comment. Is anyone signed up? Item 7, new business. First one, A, is consideration of early literacy grant.
Yeah, on December 15th last year, the Indiana Department of Education issued guidance related to the Early Literacy Achievement Grant, which was established through House Enrolled Act 1001-2023. Excuse me. There's a cough again. Excuse me. I thought it was gone. To support the House Enrolled Act 1000-2023 was designed to support IDOE's statewide goal of ensuring 95% of Indiana's third grade students pass IREAD 3 by 2027. This appropriation was made to provide funding to schools for supplemental payment stipends to teachers for improving students' foundational reading skills, which is evidenced by the IREAD 3 data. As required by the IDOE, we're seeking approval of the policy found in your board packets to distribute the early learning grant funds to our teachers that qualify for the grant proceeds. And of note, this policy has been discussed with the Classroom Teachers Association and administrators prior to the meeting.
So is this just a one-time deal, or is this like from now until?
It was funded through the last legislative session, so I'm assuming it's going to last at least this year and next year. And then when they go into the budget again, we'll see if it's beneficial or not. The allocation was for it. So we're just following through on the legislation.
How did the teachers react?
That means extra money is a good thing. and we did well because of the way we're running it on our reading. So we had a substantial amount of money to hand out.
What criteria did you use to figure out who would get that? Because it's definitely not, it's pretty difficult to determine who exactly would be responsible for actually implementing and delivering the instruction. And I mean, is that including
K-3 teachers and SPED teachers, title teachers.
Any classified staff that would be working with the kids one-on-one? Because I know a lot of classified staff work one-on-one with a lot of those kids that would need that instruction.
We were leaning it to follow basically the TAG grant guidelines that we had followed before for the TAG money, so we were just leaning towards the licensed educators. But
you could change that if you wanted.
You're approving the policy, and it's left. Well, it says and other staff.
We have to adhere to. So we have to adhere to it.
So it says, through this appropriation, grant funds have been issued to public school corporations and charter schools for distribution to teachers, instructional coaches, and other school staff responsible for implementing and delivering literacy and reading instruction. So your IAs aren't necessarily delivering.
I've gotten some neighboring corporations that I know of.
Are they considered instructional code?
Do IAs implement and deliver literacy and reading instruction? Or do they just?
So based on the policy as it's written, if they qualify underneath that, then they could be added into that policy would cover that, but we would have to make sure that they delivered the instruction.
Right, and you haven't done all that yet. You're
We
just
have not. We're just.
get the money first, and then you'll figure it out.
That's what the policy is going to allow us to do.
So the way the policy is written currently, it seems like if we determined that that was the case, that IAs were.
They qualify under this criteria. But we were working under the assumption it was licensed teachers, but with the way that the legislation is written, we can.
Which you can, I mean, you can find that information out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is written basically right from the legislative law. So we just had to have it approved prior to distribution of the funds.
This is just step one, so we have to have this in place
before I can distribute any funds, correct.
If there's no other discussion.
So how are you going to determine?
The legislature says they have to have direct instructional, just as it's written there, they have to be working with the delivery of instruction. So we will make sure if they do that, then they will qualify by this policy. It would only be those that are K-3. You have to work with K-3 students.
The other intermediate grades do any remediation in the lower grades for any after-school programs?
It's determined by the iRead scores. That's why it's limited to that.
Talking more about remediating in some primary grades, I know that some schools look for different teachers to remediate and do different programs to prepare some of the primary grades. I don't know if that's happening.
If they have direct instruction with K-3, and they qualify under this, then they would receive.
Just trying to make sure that everyone's would be included that would possibly be involved in that.
Anybody who delivers, anyone falls under that will be part of that, included with it.
So if any teachers were hired, like say to do tutoring through the ESSER funds and all of that, those would be.
If it was K through 3.
Yes.
And it had to be last school year, 22.
Correct. And they still have to be employed with us now.
Right.
And then that's why I also had in there if we hired them mid-year and they still worked with them, then we would prorate it based on. That's why that's in there as well. But we don't have anyone that would need prorated. So.
There's no other discussion. I move to approve the early literacy grant policy.
Second.
Okay, Joe made the motion to approve the early literacy grant policy. We seconded it. All those in favor? Item 7B, consideration of literacy resolution.
Following along with the literacy conversation, we're working with Terry Spradling, which is the Executive Director of the Indiana School Boards Association. We're seeking approval of the literacy resolution that was developed by ISBA and the Indiana Department of Education initiative to raise student literacy. Although our teachers and administrators continue to work every day to ensure the highest levels of literacy, we strive to continue to meet every student's literacy needs. We have been ahead of the curve on this initiative. I've been telling you about it for quite a while by building programming and professional development opportunities. And we're also continuing our work on a comprehensive literacy and intervention plan here at South Putnam. And the resolution provides written verification of this alignment with the Indiana Department of Education and ISBA. The Indiana Department of Education has set a goal, stated earlier, of reaching and exceeding 95% passage rate statewide on the iRead 3 assessment by 2027. And ISBA asks that you can please consider this resolution reflecting South Putnam's commitment to increasing literacy as we join with hundreds of other school districts doing the same. resolutions in your board.
Yeah. Any questions? Comments?
Seemed pretty cut and dry. It looked like it was, again, just directly from.
I move to approve the literacy resolution.
Second.
You made the motion to approve the literacy resolution. Wade seconded it. All those in favor? Passes. 7C, consideration of Area 30 interlocal agreements.
Prior to my arrival in 2021, the Area 30 Board of Directors updated the interlocal agreement with all the schools, which you can find in your board packets. As you know, Area 30 provides unique learning and career-focused opportunities for our students that are better suited to be delivered via an interlocal agreement, or arrangement, not agreement, sorry. The agreement has been effective for the participating schools, and therefore tonight we're just seeking approval of the continuation of this agreement.
No major changes.
No, it's just dated now.
So my question was on number 8. It says to contract, or the interlocal is able to contract with a member to provide a program or portion of a program using its facilities, its equipment, and its employees in lieu of providing the program under the interlocal directly, in which case the interlocal shall not be deemed to be the employer. So I was thinking of our ag classes and wondering if, well, a couple of things. One, if that is considered then to be an Area 30 class, if we have other kids come, or how does that work as far as payment for students? Do we get, anyway, I
No.
don't know anything about it.
I have 2 parts to that answer.
Okay.
One is we receive CTE money, ACP dollars for classes that we host here that run through. Okay. So we have our own in-house classes, and the CTE money runs and funds through that channel.
Through what channel?
So Area 30 has signs off on our CTE classes.
Okay.
So they just make sure that we're all in a line, and they sign off on those. There's a big process that we go through with the guidance department to make sure that's aligned. And it comes in, and we have to verify the form. We all sign off on it. They sign off on it that we're hosting those classes here. The second part of that is, so let's use your scenario. So let's say, let's just use Ag Powers for an example. We host Ag Powers here. Another school wants to send students to us because we're hosting Ag Powers here. So what would happen is the other school, so it basically bypasses Area 30 100%. In other words, those dollars would come, if another student from another school takes that, those dollars would go to that school, but we would invoice the other school for that student taking that class. So it's not involved in there. Area 30 doesn't involve in that at all. It just runs through the school.
Do you have any other kids in that class?
No. There's none of that that's going on right now. So it's just a hypothetical that she was asking. So,
but it could.
In the agreement, it says that it could. Yes, but that's the answers that all.
Thank you.
The best of my opinion.
Anybody else? Questions? Okay. So we'll
I move to approve the Area 30 local agreement.
Second.
You made the motion to approve the Area 30 interlocal agreement, and Joe seconded that. All those in favor? Aaron, can you see Wade?
Oh, nice.
If you lean far enough. Sorry. Item D, corporation policy updates, first reading.
It's like a broken record. From time to time, I bring you updates from Neola on policy updates, and tonight's just another one of those nights. Continuing to work with Dr. Halleck on updating our policies, and this is one of the recent updates packages. This is first reading tonight, so there's no action that's required. We'll revisit these policies in February for second reading and for approval at that point.
I would just like to say, there's only like 7 or 8, right?
15.
Maybe I went through 15. I don't know. It didn't seem like very many at all.
Some of them were a couple of liners, yeah, and some of them were like 7 pages. So
Nothing compared to the last one.
All right, well, I'm gonna go make sure I have them all. Yeah, and we'll kind of do like we did last time. So as you go through, if you just have questions about what it means or something, ask Corey. But if there's something that you want to discuss before signing off on them, we'll have, just let me know what the number of the policy is, and then we'll do what we did last time. Is that okay? So no action on that, just
no action. No.
Okay, item E, consideration of Fillmore interior door security.
Yeah, so as part of our security initiatives, we're consistently looking for ways to heighten our staff and student safety via different hardware, software, and procedural updates. Tonight, we bring to you a need at Fillmore Elementary School. As part of our district-wide goal of putting electronic door access on both interior and exterior doors, we've already provided for exterior door access and control systems, while also installing electronic controls in all of our offices for visitor access control. Our next step is to provide electronically controlled fob access to all of our classrooms throughout the district. However, budgets and resources kind of require us to do this in stages rather than doing it all at once. Fillmore Elementary is in need of updated lock sets, as the current lock sets are problematic, and therefore it makes the most logical sense to start this project at that school. The competitive quotes we received for the Fillmore interior electronic lock sets are in your packets. Wireless Networking Solutions, which is WNS for short, they've also completed all our other electronic access control projects, will be the one that's selected based on price and service. So tonight I'm just seeking approval of the Fillmore interior door security project as outlined in those board packets so we can get that process started.
Was this something that we could have gone through, or I'm sure you would have if we could, but I wondered about the co-op. Is that something that they have that we can
Cooperative purchases.
Yeah.
We'll look through that to see if there is another price on it, but I don't believe so. It's usually through these vendors. It is a lot. It is.
Yeah.
And there is it says wireless, but I mean, I assume if something goes down with the wireless part, like.
Oh, there's mechanical override. Absolutely. Keyed access if needed for override. Yep.
Something a lot of the schools are trying to go to. I know not a lot of the neighboring school corporations have wireless internal for classrooms. I was just looking at the price on all of those, but I'm not.
Lock sets in and of themselves are expensive without the electronics. But this just adds another added of speed and control of getting kids in and out of classrooms if something would to happen, God forbid.
Does every teacher have a override key?
No, that is an administrator only override key.
They all have one for their classrooms.
No, yeah, but.
You're saying if the electronic doesn't work, do they have an immediate means to do it?
Electronic, they're monitored, so I have experience with them, multiple years with them in my previous district. Never ran into an issue whatsoever, but the administrators all had override keys.
There won't be a specific key in each classroom. There'll be a master key. It's an override key. Each teacher won't have an override key for their specific door.
And you would only need that if the electricity was down, right?
Those are battery powered.
Yeah, they're battery.
No.
They're battery powered.
Okay.
So you just replace the batteries.
When would they not work?
They don't.
When they don't.
When they don't.
Yeah.
When they don't. I will say that dollar-wise, we're just rekeying things. It seems on par. From my experience in having a facility rekey.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive.
Just imagining what Fillmore might be like, the number of doors, and seeing quotes, it was comparable to what I've experienced.
Currently, teachers have a key specific for their room. Correct?
And I believe in the elementaries. High school, we have more of a universal setup. So because of if something was to happen, we can get it in any classroom. So, you know what I mean, when kids get them in, it's a safety, part of our safety protocols. And that's how that would work in the new system as well. So the teacher could get into any other classroom, wherever they are, to get kids in there. So,
If it's not a hard key, or if it's not a manual key, they don't have a manual key, but they can't get in if it's not working.
if it's not working.
But if they're all on a battery and they're all individual, what event, well,
I mean, there's a.
in other words,
My key has.
if my battery's out and I'm trying to get my key in the classroom, I can go to your classroom. Chances are yours won't be out at the same time mine is out.
No.
Looking at how the system
Is it,
functions.
can somebody get in there and knock them all down? Like, no, I don't know.
Well, either way, we need new keys, right?
They need new locks,
At
that's,
Fillmore.
Right.
So,
No question that needs
Yeah.
to happen. I just am concerned with the.
You know, as part of the final approval of the project being complete, you know, maybe I'm assuming there's gonna be an assessment for all the what ifs, you know, in those situations.
and this company that we're choosing does this with schools all across.
So
This is
they're
the direction schools are going
Not a new.
because of the safety and the speed of access to classrooms. It just speeds that up. You know, if you're under panic and you're trying to get a key in a lock,
Absolutely.
or fumbling for your keys, there's additional parts to this. I'll go ahead and we're looking to have the ID badges, have the keys, have the fob on the ID, so you always have the key with you no matter what. And it's just touching it. It's really quick. I had multiple years of experience with these exact keys, electronic key sets. So that's another thing coming down the road, but that you have key to get in classrooms wherever you are, pretty much. So.
If there's no other discussion, I move to approve the Fillmore Elementary interior doors project.
any other discussion? All right. Joe made the motion to approve the Fillmore Elementary interior door security project. Holly seconded it. All those in favor? Yes. Other business? Any other business? Anybody? Superintendent's report.
I'll try to be brief. Real quick project update where the projects continue to develop. We have had many productive planning meetings. The 2022 project is coming to a close, and the 2024 project continues to track on projected timelines that you already have that have been given. We'll have a progress report for Fanning Howie and MKS very soon on that, where we are standing in that project. We have several meetings coming up in the next week or so that will help derive what that looks like. We received a $100,000 grant for an employer-based preschool grant via the Employer-Sponsored Child Care Fund. It's a huge group effort, and we had support from many members of the Greencastle Putnam County Development Center Workforce Committee. They provided letters of support, and we got this from both government and business entities throughout Putnam County, which was really exciting. This is a preschool for 4 to 5 year olds that will be housed at Fillmore Elementary. Our staff members throughout the district will have first dibs on the 15 spots because it's an employer-based preschool. But if our staff members don't utilize all 15 of those spots, and again, this is a starting point, right? We want to grow it bigger than this, but if they don't use all that, then it'll be open to the public for that as well. We're the only entity in Putnam County to receive this grant, and I say entity because it was open to all businesses that qualified for it. So we're the only one in Putnam County to receive the grant. Several other surrounding counties had 0 recipients, so we're one of the only ones in the whole area. Montgomery County, Crawfordsville was a recipient, but there was not a lot in our area at all that received this.
And that allows, like, it's free for the 15, like.
We're working on that, and it should be the first year we're looking at what it looks like, but it'll be reduced costs for sure. But the idea is that it's a benefit to our staff members, and I'm hoping that we can pay for it all through the grant. So we're trying to be as efficient as we possibly can. Worst case, it'll be a reduced cost of what you're going to find anywhere else. We're still working on all the budgeting items and how that all fits together, but our goal is to make it as inexpensive or free as possible. With that, we're currently working on the transitional and the infrastructure plan at Fillmore in order to the space to house this program, and that's just part of the process of adaptive change as we go through and add programming throughout the district. So that's exciting. That was exciting that we were able to get that. That's a significant amount of money to be able to facilitate this program. We've been waiting to get it all along. It's just finding the funding for it, and now that we have that, that's going to help spearhead that. And we're hoping the legislature comes along and starts adding to those funds as well. With the projects and upcoming program changes, we're preparing for several positive disruptions throughout the district. As a matter of fact, all buildings are going to be impacted by a lot of these changes and some projects that will be going on. As we've already talked about some of them, and along with the big projects coming. The admin team, they've had extensive discussions and planning sessions in preparation for the disruptions that are coming. And they have begun to engage their staffs in that process as well. Some of the disruptions will begin within the month, and others will roll out throughout the spring, summer, and fall, and continue all the way till fall of 25. So the disruption of how things work around here will be part of it. We've been through it on a smaller basis on the current projects, but we just know this will impact pretty much every building throughout the district. So just nice that everyone's being proactive, and we're looking at this with eyes wide open going in, planning for all disruptions that can happen. But as I've said many times, progress and change are inconvenient at times, but I think altogether, working as a team, we will endure it and collectively celebrate it when we're able to substitute the inconvenience for the opportunities that come from all these changes that we're implementing in the projects that we're building. So just want to give you an update on that it's kind of the year of positive disruption as we move through these projects. That's all I have for you tonight.
Did you mention anything about the locker room that we just remodeled like over the fall or winter break? Did it get completed?
That is
I didn't know if we got that done or not. I know it was
that part of that project is completed. Yes.
Good deal.
Can you give us an update on the HVAC situation with some?
Yeah, a lot of the controls and everything are in place now. They're doing some fine tuning. We had a meeting on that just yesterday. They're bringing out basically finalizing that process. So we're real close to getting that done.
So I guess the connectivity of the one or more units that were causing some problems, that's all resolved?
It's not all completely resolved, but the plan to resolve it is in place. But much of the problems are resolved. We have some of those professionals coming out to finalize that.
I'm assuming the expense of most of that is on, not on us, but on those who.
Yeah, the majority of it is on the design, the current contractor or their subs.
So the problems that still need to be fixed, you know what the problems are.
We do. They are identified and on a list that we're going through to make sure we get through.
When does our warranty start on that date?
When they give us control, and we're not to that point yet. We have not signed off on it yet. Warranty begins after that.
Anything else? We will adjourn. Our next regular school board meeting will be on Wednesday, February 21st at 6.
This is time we don't have any irregular meetings planned.
I might have one or two.